Representative Davis.
Thank you. And I apologize if this is, if some of these have already been covered. First of all, am I your friend, Representative Shaheen?
Miss Rose
got
is
the
my
Dallas
friend,
connection.
Christian Manuel's my friend, and you are my friend, Miss Davis.
All right, here we go. Are you familiar with some of the considerations are that guide a judge's determinations in child custody proceedings?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Sure. Are you familiar with the considerations that guide a judge's determinations in child custody proceedings?
The guides for district judges in a family court? Yeah, there is some guides in state statute.
So the primary consideration, according to Texas Family Code, is always the best interest of the child.
That's right.
Always.
Yep.
Are you familiar with the importance of the Texas Supreme Court case? Was it Hawley versus Adams?
No.
All right. In that one, the termination of parental rights resulted in the establishment of factors a judge would consider when deciding the best interest test. So would you happen to know the factors in the best interest test?
I do not know the factors of the best interest test.
All right. The most important factors are the desires of the child and the emotional and physical danger to child now and in future.
Mm-hmm.
That was established by a case, like I said, that went before the Texas Supreme Court. So now knowing that, do you believe this bill would limit a judge's ability to ensure that trans kids in Texas can remain safe?
It doesn't limit them at all. So what it does is a parent in their visitation rights doesn't get abused if they don't agree with the gender claims of a child. Because again, parents are allowed to disagree with their children, and that disagreement does not create a hostile or dangerous environment for their child.
Okay, and again, we just talked about if you do have a parent that is not really supportive of a child, it can cause emotional danger. And we're talking about that to the effect of the emotional danger causing children to want to do harm to themselves and things like that. And that's the reality of things that are happening. So I'm asking.
Well, but a parent can disagree with their child but still support that child. So yeah, if a child grows up in a family and they don't feel loved by their parents, that certainly can cause harm. That's not what this does. What this does is an individual who believes there's two genders, male and female, isn't punished if they believe that. And I haven't heard anybody really disagree with that. But
At what point would you consider that to become emotional harm to the child?
it's not emotionally harm to tell a child the true nature of their sex. It's just a biological fact, and I know there's disagreement on that, but at the end of the day, there's male or female, and it's not harming a child to tell them whether they're male and female. I would argue you're actually harming the child if you lie to them.
I sincerely don't even know how to respond to that. But I will say, as a teacher, over a decade, high school students, I see it all the time. And sometimes students have to come to school to be their safe place because they don't understand what's going on with themselves and they don't have supportive family.
Absolutely, that child should be loved. No, whether there's a disagreement over the gender of that child should be loved and hugged and supported, no question about it. But at the end of the day, there are some realities out there, and it's not good for a child to deviate from those realities. It's just not.
But it's their reality. And at some point,
Well,
it does cause emotional danger to the child. If you can't even come home and get support and love from your parents, sometimes it does
That's
escalate.
totally different. A mom and dad not loving their child, that is totally different. And quite frankly, I don't think it's fair to say that a parent doesn't love their child if they're being true to their child in the facts.
Well, again, we're talking about emotional danger to the child.
It's not emotionally danger to a child. If that child is a boy, if it's a little boy, it's not emotionally damaging to that child to say that they're a little boy. And again, this is why this bill is filed, is this unfair idea that because I don't accept my child's false understanding of their sex, that I'm somehow abusing my child. So that's exactly why I have this piece of legislation, because there's people out there that think it's abusive if I tell my son that he's a boy, and it's not abusive. I would argue that it is abusive if I tell my boy he's a girl.
Would you
That's
happen to
harmful.
have any
Because then I'm
psychology?
lying to them.
Would you happen to have any psychology reports or anything from any sort of doctor or scientist to back what you're saying now, that it wouldn't cause any sort of emotional damage at all?
I don't think research needs to
All right, thank you.
be
Thank
done
you,
on that.
Representative.